Bhagavan Shri Krishna started his teaching from the 11th shloka, where he said, Panditaha na anushocanti. Wise people do not grieve. And here wise people means the people who have got self-knowledge. And having said this, he gave the teaching on this self-knowledge. Means he talked about the nature of the self. And when one understands this self as it is and owns up that self as oneself, means a person understands that Atma is Akarta and that Atma I am. And therefore I am Akarta, I am Abhokta, I am Nirvikaraha, I am Nityaha, I am Sarvagataha. In this manner, when one understands, then there is no problem of samsara for that person. But everybody may not be ready for that. And that is why Bhagavan Sri Krishna comes to the next topic of this chapter, which is the next topic of Bhagavad Gita. And that is the topic of Karma Yoga. And why is it necessary? Some people may have this question. When moksha, freedom is by knowledge, and that knowledge topic is already discussed, then what is the necessity of talking about something which is the lower means Karma Yoga, Do you mean to say that Karma Yoga is an alternative to Jnana Yoga? So that question may come. When the highest, the ultimate means for freedom is already talked about, what is the necessity of talking about other means? It is something like a very what is called sumptuous dishes are served, and then afterward, what is the need of serving idlis, and the plain rice? So you have been given very big, or puri, sabji, and all these are given. Then what is the necessity for this very like a common item? Nobody will take. Similarly, when Jnana Yoga Adai is given, all of you know Adai. When Jnana Yoga Adai is given, what is the necessity of Karma Yoga Idli? That question may come. Our answer is simple. Okay, everybody cannot digest Adai. In fact, that is why every Saturday we make puri also and some semia upma also. Why? Because everybody cannot take puri. So we have a provision. The people may think, in fact, when we started to do that, somebody said that who will take? But we are seeing that it is taken. In fact, sometimes it is over also. Similarly, this Jnana Yoga, even though it is the ultimate means for moksha, but everybody cannot digest it. Everybody cannot receive it properly, and even if receives, cannot digest well. Cannot get complete benefit from that. Most of the people find Jnana Yoga to be very difficult. They say Jnana Yoga is meant only for highly intelligent people. We are ordinary. We are IQ with 70, 80, 90, and therefore we cannot understand Vedanta. That is why if there is a program of Nama Sankirtan, bhajans, etc., more audience will come. Some rituals is there, more audience will come. Jnana Yoga, little bit. Here Sunday we have a complete package, and therefore some people are at least coming. But we have puja, everything, So complete package. Otherwise, pure Jnana Yoga, people are not interested. Not only not interested, they find very difficult. And therefore, Bhagavan is talking about Karma Yoga not as an alternative means, but as a preparatory means. Anything you find difficult in life because you are not prepared. Running, many of you may find difficult because not prepared. Or was prepared, not prepared now. So anything. Sanskrit, many of you find difficult. Why? Not prepared. And so if you are not prepared, you will find difficult. If you want to make it easy, what you have to do? You have to be prepared. When you are prepared, everything is easy. When you are not prepared, everything is difficult. Cooking, if you are prepared, then cooking is easy. And you do not know whether it is suji or atta. So that much problem you have, then you cannot cooking find very difficult. वो बोले कि आप Zomato से order कर दो. So Zomato, there is some app or something. So that's what happens. Anything if you are not prepared, you will find difficult. And in such situation, if what is to be done, if it is found difficult, you should not run away from that. Instead of running away from that particular situation, we make ourselves prepared so that what was found difficult will be found easy. But our escaping mind generally what it does? Anything find difficult, drop it. Anything find difficult, drop it. Yeah, sometimes you drop it, doesn't matter. But when it is important to have it in our life, then we cannot just drop it. We cannot just escape it. We have to prepare. And so Bhagavan is giving Karma Yoga as a preparatory means, not as an alternative means. This Karma Yoga is not presented as an alternative to Jnana Yoga. Therefore, Bhagavan Bhashyakara, while explaining Buddhya Yukto Yaya Partha Karma Bandham Prahasyasi, when you have understanding of Karma Yoga and you are following Karma Yoga, then you will be free from the bondage of karma, otherwise for samsara. So somebody may think that Bhagavan is presenting Karma Yoga as an alternative. First he said, Panditaha na anushocanti, means wise people become free from samsara. And now he is telling, by Karma Yoga you become free from samsara. Like you want to go to dining hall, you can go from here left side and you go straight and then you go the left again and then you go to dining hall. You will reach dining hall. One person starts from here, other person starts from there. Both will reach. So it looks like that Bhagavan Sri Krishna is presenting Karma Yoga as an alternative to Jnana Yoga. Therefore Bhashyakara makes it clear. He said, Ishvara prasada nimitta jnana praptehe karma bandham prahasyasi. Karma Yoga itself will not give you moksha. But by Karma Yoga, you will have the grace of Ishvara. Ishvara Prasada. Prasada doesn't mean chundal and all this, okay? Prasada means grace. Generally, Prasada we hear only that comes to our mind. The Dundai with chundal. So, it is not every time that. That also is Prasada. But primary meaning of Prasada is the grace or quietude. Here it is in the sense of grace. Ishvara Prasada. By Karma Yoga, you will receive the grace of Ishvara. And that grace of Ishvara will remove all the obstacles in your pursuit of Jnana. What are the obstacles? We have got some laziness. We have got some problem, obstacle in the form of Ragadveshas, getting carried away by situations. Or not getting right Guru. Or even right Gurus are there. My mind is not accepting Guru. Whatever obstacle we have, all those obstacles will be removed by the grace of Ishvara. And because of that, you will have opportunity to do Shravana Manana, Nididhyasanam. And because of that, you will attain Jnanam. And by that Jnanam, you will attain Karma Bandha Prahanam, the moksha from the bondage of karma. So Karma Yoga itself does not give moksha, but it paves the way for getting Jnanam, which is the means for moksha. So this is a glorification of Karma Yoga. And when you are glorifying something, that other factors you discount. Like they say, you must have seen the advertisement, Bournvita advertisement. Bournvita you have, so many medals you have. That boy, they will show that he is having Bournvita and he is having so many medals. And they say Bournvita brings you there's so many awards, medals. Does it mean that you drink Bournvita, medals will come? You finish your Bournvita and medal is there on around the neck. Does it happen? No. But that advertisement has a message to convey. The Bournvita will keep you, according to them, keep you healthy and very alert and energetic, so that you can prepare well, so that you can write your exam well, so that you can get medals. But all these factors they don't write. What they write? Drink Bournvita, get medals. That is called what? Glorification. In Shastriya language, it's called Arthavada. And in glorification, certain factors are highlighted little bit more, and certain factors which are necessary but they are discounted. Means their necessity is not highlighted. Given factor alone is highlighted. Like you have got a picture of the 30 years old picture, and there is a group of people, 15 people are there. In that, all of them did not become great. One person became president. Then what they will do? They will make a circle on that. Even here in gallery you see, there are 3-4 people, then Pujya Swamiji, they put a circle. It's not that others are not there, but that person matters. So similarly, here Karma Yoga is glorified. And now, from the 40th shloka, Bhagavan continues, or Bhagavan, we can say Bhagavan is contrasting this Karma Yoga with Kamya Karma to glorify the Karma Yoga. And what is Karma Yoga? It is going to be talked about from the 47th shloka. But right now we have seen in the last class, Karma Yoga is doing action with proper attitude to the action and the result of action. Doing action, proper action, right action, to be done action with proper attitude. So proper action with proper attitude is called Karma Yoga, where I look upon every action as an opportunity to worship the Lord. And whatever be the result, I take it as prasada of the Lord. Even when I am planning the action, my focus is more on doing the karma with proper attitude so that I grow inwardly. So in Karma Yoga, the approach is to focus on inner growth. Whereas Kamya Karma means desire-based action. Materialistic desire-based action, that is called Kamya Karma. In Shastra, they talk about 4 types of karma: Kamya Karma, Vihita Karma, Pratishiddha Karma and Prayaschitta Karma. Here relevant is Vihita Karma means to be done actions. Kamya Karma means the actions which are done only for fulfillment of materialistic desire. So in Kamya Karma, the focus, the motive is external growth, material growth. Whereas in Karma Yoga, the motive is inner growth. I want to become a mature person, emotionally mature person. Physically maturity comes on its own. Emotionally mature, prepared for Jnana Yoga. So I want to have inner growth. So Karma Yoga is the lifestyle where inner growth is given more importance. And this is based on the philosophy that your happiness, your peace is more dependent on what you are as a person than what you have. Generally, materialistic people give more importance to having more and more possessions. I want to have more and more things, then I will be peaceful, then I will be happy. So they think happiness is directly proportional to the possessions I have. Whereas Karma Yogi is the one who knows that my happiness, my peace is directly proportional to how mature I am. In your life you must have seen that when you had less resources, but when relatively your mind was free from anxiety, worries, you were more happy, you were more peaceful. And afterwards so many gadgets have come, so many the means for communications have come. But that happiness, that peace, relative peace, is missed by you. And from your own life you can see, when you have that inner leisure, you are more happy. When you have more maturity, you are more happy, more peaceful. This particular fact is understood very well by people, then we will not have corruption in our country. will not have this conflicts, exploitation. People are thinking that more money, more happiness. We do not say that money is not important for comforts and happiness. Money does contribute. I don't say money is not at all important. Money is definitely important. But money alone will make me happy. That is not it. So Karma Yogi also gives importance to the material prosperity. It's not that he ignores that. Because for doing karma he requires some material prosperity. So Karma Yogi is not an impractical person, not a hobo. Like a gullible, pavam, they call it Tamil, pavam. He is not like that. He is intelligent. He understands the importance of all resources. But he does not give over importance to this material prosperity. If he has to choose between the two, inner growth and outer growth, he will choose inner growth. That is what makes him Karma Yogi. So Karma Yoga is the lifestyle where inner growth is given more importance. And second difference between this Karma Yoga and this Kamya Karma is in Karma Yoga, during karma, Karma Yogi is relaxed. Why? Because he does not have anxiety for material benefit. Like we saw in the last class, when your focus is on getting exercise while playing, you will not have anxiety to win. You may play to win. Nothing wrong in playing to win. But winning is not your goal. And therefore, not winning or winning is not going to make any difference. And therefore, you are not anxious about winning. Similarly, Karma Yogi, he knows whatever be the material benefit, my growth is guaranteed. And therefore, while doing the karma, Karma Yogi is relaxed. Whereas, the Kamya Karma person, Kami, a person who is committed to the karmas out of this materialistic desire based karma one who is doing, that person will be highly anxious. Will I get it or not? Will I get it or not? So much important. So much importance to the result, and therefore so much anxiety is there. So that is the second difference. Third difference is that when karma is completed and the result comes, Karma Yogi takes the result as a prasadam, and therefore there is no reaction. His mind is more or less same, equal to all four types of results. We have seen four types of result: equal to my expectation, less than expectation, or more than expectation, or opposite to my expectation. With reference to all four types of result, mind is more or less same. I don't say completely same, more or less same. So the variation will be there, but is within a range. And therefore, there is no reaction. He will not be like a jumping something when a good result comes, and when the unfavorable result comes or unexpected result comes, he is not depressed. Some people know, when they get unexpected result, they get into depression. For days together, they don't talk to anyone. And some people are so much overworked, they commit suicide also. I don't know now it happens, but in few years ago, when there is a result of SSC, near the dam, special security will be there. Because many people will commit suicide. So they don't want to spoil dam also. So the security is present. And we hear that the result is so many people commit suicide. So Kami, a person who is committed to Kamya Karma, he will have reaction to the result of karma. Whereas Karma Yogi, he takes every result in his stride. And that difference is highlighted in this shloka. That how Karma Yogi is in advantageous position compared to the person who is not having Karma Yoga attitude. And what is said here? Abhikrama nashaha na asti. Abhikrama nashaha means the destruction of initiative, means failure of action. In materialistic pursuit, when the karma is done for the materialistic desire, fulfillment of materialistic desire, that time there is always possibility. One may get expected result, one may not get expected result. And when one doesn't get expected result, then person will say what? My whole effort has gone waste. People say that. I worked for 3 years, my whole exercise has gone waste. So when you have got materialistic approach towards action, you will have failure. Whereas in Karma Yoga, there is no failure. Success guaranteed. Abhikrama nashaha nasti. There is no failure of any initiative. Means there may be success or failure, that type of situation is not there in Karma Yoga. Why? Because whether the karma, materialistically speaking, is failing or it is successful, his inner growth is guaranteed. As we have seen in the example, I am playing tennis, whether I win the game or I lose the game, exercise is guaranteed. Therefore, there is no failure. And fear of failure is highly stressful. Whereas this person doesn't have this. Abhikrama nasha. Abhikrama means initiative. Nashaha means not getting expected result. Phala ekantikatvam. So, uncertainty about the result, getting success, not getting success, that is not there. That is first benefit of Karma Yoga. So, Karma Yogi will never have the feeling of failure. I am a failure. He will never say I am a failure. Even if the project did not work as it was planned, he will take it as a learning experience. And therefore, Abhikrama nashaha nasti. Pratyavaya, adverse effect. Like Bhashyakara said, Aushadha Seva. So in those days also reaction must be there, side effect must be there. So Bhashyakara says, when you take medicine, then it may cure the person, it may cure you, it may not cure you, and worse is, it may give you side effect. And side effect is sometimes worse than the original disease. Some medicine, person takes all over the blisters, which is worse than whatever simple allergy he had. Not possible. So in karma, it is possible. Person does business. For what? Getting profit. So he may get profit, he may not get profit. Profit he gets, he will call himself successful. Profit he does not get, he said, I did not get success. But there is a possibility he may lose capital also. Pratyavaya is there. So in Kamya Karma, in the materialistic approach, the side effect is possible. Means you get something opposite to your expectation. Not as per your expectation, opposite to your expectation. And that is called Pratyavaya. So you do something with good intention, and other person takes it wrongly. You want to share your food with somebody, and somebody complains that you are spreading something. You are spreading disease. Complain. Possible. In our life we have experienced that many times we had good intention in doing something and people misunderstood. Possible or not? Many times it happens. We say something out of good intention. Then we give advice. Then other person takes from it. I remember in Rishikesh Ashram, one lady from abroad, I don't know why, but I gave advice that you by heart 15th chapter. She felt so bad. I will not do it. Who are you to tell me? I said, Pratyavaya. So from that, if I am a karma yogi, I will learn that advice is such a thing everybody likes to give, nobody wants to take. Don't give advice. Especially, don't give unsolicited advice. I generally say, don't become USA, unsolicited advisor. Become SA, South Africa. So, solicited advisor. If somebody asks for advice, give. But that also in a limited measure. Otherwise, next time fellow will think twice to ask you for advice. You overpower him. Anyway, so pratyavayaha na vidyate. In karma yoga, there is no adverse effect. And in karma, generally the result comes only when you have done it completely. Like, you are digging a well for water, and water will come only at this 60 feet depth. And now, if you dig only 30 feet, will you get any benefit? It's not that 30 feet you dug and therefore some water came. No, if water is there at only 60 feet. So your digging at 30 feet doesn't give any benefit. Or our dining hall example, generally I am known for that. So if you are making rasagulla, and rasagulla first you have to make cheese ball. Cheese ball you have to make. And then you ball पर सबको serve कर दिया. So you serve all the balls without putting them into syrup. People will say, what type of item you have made? So if you don't complete the process, you don't get benefit. You have to complete the process, then only you get the result of action. So in materialistic approach, you have to complete all the steps, then only you get the benefit. Whereas in karma yoga, there is no such thing. Even if you are not able to complete something, some action, to the extent you have done the action, you will be benefited. Like in tennis, how many? There are only 3 sets, no? 3 sets are there, no?
5.
3 or 5? 5 or 3?
3.
Huh? Okay, whatever. 5 sets are there. So, I play 3 sets. Then, I may not win the match. If I have not won all the 3, only I won 1 match I won, 2 match I have lost, and I would have won if I had played more. But I gave up in between. I will not get the victory. I have to complete. At least till I get this more number of sets I have won. But in Karma Yoga it is not like that. To the extent you follow Karma Yoga, you are benefited. So in Karma Yoga, Sarvangopasamhara, technically it is called Sarvangopasamhara, means the completion of all the angas required. Here, to the extent you do, you are benefited. And even little bit you have followed Karma Yoga, to that extent, you have got Chitta Shuddhi, you are getting closer to the Jnana Prapti. You don't have to wait for the completion, physical completion of action. Then only you will get benefit. Same tennis example, if you are playing for exercise, to the extent you have played, you got the exercise. You don't have to know only 5 matches I play, 5 sets I play, then only I will get the benefit. There is no such thing. As even you play, you have started getting the benefit. So in Karma Yoga, completion, physical completion of action is not required. Suppose, somebody is doing this Vishnu Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama chanting for getting some benefit. Some astrologer has told him that you have to do 11 times and you have to do this much Naivedyam, then you will get this benefit. Now this person does 6 times, he will not get benefit. If it is doing with materialistic desire. Whereas Karma Yogi does 3 times, 4 times, doesn't matter. He will get the benefit of Chitta Shuddhi because that is what is in his mind. And therefore, Svalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. It protects the person from great danger. Immediately and in long run. Immediately person, when he follows the lifestyle and attitude of Karma Yoga, he is free from the danger of reactive life. So Mahato Bhayat in relative sense, he is free from these reactions. And in ultimate sense, he becomes free from the great danger of samsara. Not immediately. Indirectly, Karma Yoga paves the way for Jnanam, which protects the person from great danger of samsara. And thus, Karma Yoga is greater than this Kamya Karma in so many respects. Now in the next shloka, one more benefit of Karma Yoga is given. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kuru nandana bahushakahyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. So here Bhagavan wants to show the benefit of Karma Yoga in the form of clarity, conviction and freedom from confusion. Some people have this problem. They cannot decide. They do not have clarity of priorities. Even for small things, now they are so confused. They bus ticket, 5 bus tickets they will book because they don't know which one they will book. If we ask them, when are you planning? I'll plan next week I'll plan, next week I'll plan. Some people are afraid. Means confused mind. Their whole face is like question mark. So whole personality is that. I have seen Pujya Swamiji. Such a, something comes and within 5-10 minutes, yes, decision is made. So when you have got this understanding of Karma Yoga properly, with the clarity that Karma Yoga is the means for preparedness which will help me to get Jnanam, which is the means for moksha, then person is just engaged in his pursuit without getting sidetracked. When you have confusion in your mind, you know what happens? You have back and forth movement. Imagine somebody comes out of the gate and says whether Coimbatore is this side or that side. Not clear, and nobody is there around. So he will go 5 kilometers, 2 kilometers that side, and then Coimbatore did not come. He comes back. No, he doesn't look like. Then he goes this side, other side. And then also after 2 kilometers didn't come, again comes back. So many people, they waste their time, resources because not clear. Clarity is a big power. Clarity makes you very efficient. You use your resources properly. Otherwise you waste away your resources. At least have love for clarity. I would like to be clear. And if people, those who are clear, be with them, learn from them. Ask them, how come you are so clear and so product to make decision? And not impulsive decision. Consider all factors. But some people, they have got problem in making decisions. They always confused. Not always, we don't say, most of the time confused. Even their day starts with confusion. What? Whether to get up now or not. Starting problem. That's what. And sleep also, whether to sleep now, whether one pillow or two pillows. So that also confusion. Confusion. It is okay, in Vyavahara he is confused. But here we are mainly talking about the goal of life, the means for attaining the goal of life. That clarity Karma Yogi has. So Karma Yogi knows very well that I am doing the karma. This karma itself is not going to give him moksha. This karma will help me to get Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Shuddhi will help me to get Jnanam. Jnanam is the means for moksha. Path is very clear. And when the path is very clear, then you do not get sidetracked. You are not diverted. You are not tempted by anyone. Nobody will tempt you that, oh, no, I will get you moksha by Shaktipata or something. Kundalini, etc. He is very clear. No, this will not happen. So his understanding is very well ascertained and one. Whereas this kami, the person who does not have this karma yoga approach, who is committed to materialistic benefit only, materialistic goal only, that person will have so many options and he will be confused because of so many options, and therefore he will be trying so many things and remains dissatisfied because he doesn't have clarity of the ultimate goal of life. So he thinks first that no, I think getting money is very important. So he works for it. Then he finds that money is there but relationship is not there, so I think I should get a good relationship. And therefore whatever money he has earned, he spends on relationship, thinking that relationship will make him fulfilled. And then he discovers, after 3 marriages, he discovers that relationship doesn't give fulfillment. And therefore he thinks that let me have some miraculous power. Let me raise my kundalini. Some chakra, if I reach, then I will have fulfillment. Thus, the person keeps on trying different things. Nothing wrong in doing different actions, but you should have clarity about the whole pursuit. Pujya Swamiji used to like these shlokas because it talks about the Purushartha Nishchaya, the importance of ascertaining the goal of life and the means to attain the goal of life. Like Pujya Swamiji used to say very nicely, he says, when infinity is not your goal, you will have infinite goals. Means, when you are having only finite things as your goal, then you will have infinite goals. I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Because whatever you achieve will be finite and you will not be happy with finite. Therefore what? You will be keep on trying different things. And that importance of Karma Yoga in terms of having this clarity, this conviction in the form of this single pursuit, exclusive pursuit without getting sidetracked is the benefit. Whereas in the Kamya Karma, person has got many goals and for every goal there are so many options. So in terms of goals, there are many options. And in terms of the means to attain the goals, many options. Person is confused. And confused state is not a happy state, not a peaceful state. So nobody said, I am very peacefully confused. So, confused state is a disturbing state. So, Karma Yogi is having this clear clarity and conviction. Whereas the person who is not having Karma Yoga attitude, the lifestyle characterized by Karma Yoga will remain confused with the options of many goals and many means to attain the goals. That is said here. He Kuru Nandana, he Arjuna, Iha, Bhashyakara says, Shreyo Marge, in this pursuit of moksha, which is in the form of karma yoga and jnana yoga. So a karma yogi also is a mumukshu. He is also on the path, in the pursuit of moksha only. So Shreyo Marge means in the pursuit of moksha, which is consisting of karma yoga and jnana yoga, buddhihi, understanding. What type of understanding? Vyavasayatmika, well ascertained understanding. So iha immediately means moksha and also means by secondary sense karma yoga. In karma yoga, which is the pursuit of moksha, the buddhi, the thinking is vyavasayatmika, well ascertained. Person is very clear about the whole pursuit. And eka means what? Single, one. So in the pursuit of moksha, in the pursuit of karma yoga, in the sadhana of karma yoga, the thinking of the person is well ascertained and it is one. And when it is one, then all the options popping up will be dismissed. When you are clear about the path, then in between if somebody says, no, this also is the path, that also is path, you know for sure. Therefore you will not be carried away. So when you are not convinced, people can confuse you. When you are convinced, people cannot confuse. So eka means it is one and it is dismissing all other possible options. If somebody comes to this karma yogi who has got clarity of the means and ends, if somebody comes and tells, no, by Kundalini Yoga also you can get moksha, by Shaktipata also you can get moksha, he will not be confused. What is this you are doing, this karma yoga? What? When will you reach? You come, there is an instant realization. You just sit in meditation and you will be realized soon. So that type of thing you will not be carried away. There are so many programs, it's an instant realization. I don't want either instant. Whatever I have understood, I am following it. So eka. And it is such a big blessing to have this clear mind. The mind with conviction and clarity is such a blessing. And that comes in the lifestyle of karma yoga. And how this person has got this clarity, conviction? Ashakara says, because this person has got pramana jadita vigdanam. This person has got the understanding based on the shastra received from the Guru. Since he has got pramanya buddhi, sense of validity in shastra, validity in Guru, and from him or her he has received this understanding and therefore he is very sure, not getting carried away. Whereas abhyavasayinam, the people who do not have such viveka, some clear understanding about what is the goal of life, what is the means to attain that goal of life, and they are committed to only materialistic this benefits, materialistic goals only. For such people, buddhayaha, thinking, is what? Bahushakha, having many branches, multiple choice, many branches. Whether should I do karma or upasana? In karma also laukika karma or this Vedika karma. Which one should I do, this smarta karma or I should do shorta karma? So many options. And not only many branches, each branch it is subdivided. Suppose it decides, no, I will do only laukika karma. Laukika karma means the worldly activities. Vedika karma, who knows whether it works or not. So in Ved, the laukika karma, also he will have so many options. Whether I should do business, I should do the job, or I should be a linking factor. What should I do? Okay, I will go in this field. In that also so many options. And therefore what happens? A person's mind is confused. When the materialistic approach is there in life, mind is confused. And person cannot attain significantly, especially from spiritual angle, because his energy is wasted on exploring different options. When materialistic benefit is the goal, then mind will be confused and person will be trying so many things. Whereas Karma Yoga is the approach in life, then whatever field given, person uses that field for his inner growth. And he knows that whatever be the field, whatever be the action, it is good enough for practicing, following this Karma Yoga. In Karma Yoga, there is no so much importance for whether you are doing very dignified job or non-dignified job. You are sweeping the floor, still it can become a Karma Yoga. You are offering the flowers to the Lord, still it can be Karma Yoga. It is not that when you offer flowers to the Lord, then only it will be Karma Yoga. Sweeping the floor is as good as offering the flowers. So there is no such thing. And therefore he will not insist. Yes, he will do the right action because that is what Bhagavan has prescribed. So I will do right action. But in right action, whatever action comes, depending upon my prarabdha background, I am ready to take it. Therefore he doesn't change every now and then. He doesn't need any change in action. Whatever action is given, he does it very happily, very objectively. And that is why he will not have so many confusion, so many options. He does not have the need to explore the options. Bahushakha hi anantasya. Whereas this person, the person who is committed to the material goals, he will have so many branches in terms of sadhya and so many branches in terms of sadhana. Therefore, anantaha buddhayaha. His mind is full of so many thoughts about different options. Might is listen, people say my head is busting. My head will be busting. It is something like, see, if you are comfortable with whatever food is there in dining hall, then you don't have to keep so many dabbas. So many dabbas. Even dining hall we used to have in the course. People will keep so many dabbas in the dining hall itself. इसमें से थोड़ा पूड़ी निकालेंगे, थोड़ा घी निकालेंगे, something will be there. But if you are okay with whatever is this, you don't have to keep. Otherwise, no, in that pudi, this pudi is better, this pudi is not good, this is fresh, this is not fresh. Oh my God, so many options are there. Whereas if you just go and have whatever is there, our life is simple. And people with simple lifestyle alone can focus on Vedanta. People who are so particular about this taste and that taste and all this, they are sapadram. Somebody, I remember some years ago, he says, Vedanta is not for chicken-hearted and kitchen-hearted. So it is. Chicken-hearted means what? Very frightened people, Vedanta is not. And kitchen-hearted means all the time mind is there. What is cooked? You know, when they are passing by for walk, today I think this could be. How life becomes complicated is just, even a Karma Yoga attitude is there, you are ready to welcome anything. And just focus on what is to be done. Whereas this person has got so many options about the goals, so many options about the means, therefore remains confused. Of course, there is a degree of confusion. Some people are more confused, some people are less confused, but confused. So here, the benefit of Karma Yoga given is, in Karma Yoga, where there is a clarity of Karma Yoga being the contributory means for moksha, there is conviction and single-mindedness. Singleness in the sense your mind is not divided into so many options. Whereas in materialistic pursuit, you have so many options about the sadhya and sadhana and remain confused. And don't get fulfillment. Because anything you try is not going to give fulfillment. Therefore you try something else, try something else. Whereas Karma Yogi, every action is giving him inner growth. Therefore he doesn't have the need to change something. Everything is okay. If he has to do the same thing 20 years, he is ready. Because it is giving him growth. When growth is the focus, which karma is given to you, that doesn't matter. What is your attitude, it matters. Whereas your materialistic benefit is the focus, then you keep on changing. Nowadays people keep on changing the job. You know why? Because high. Kicks also. Hikes and kicks. Kicks means they get, this is a very exciting job. Therefore keep on changing the job. If nowadays if people don't change the job, they think something wrong. What I'm thinking? I think most of you must have done 1 or 2 jobs, that's all. That you continued. It was okay. The idea is that a person having the Karma Yoga attitude has got clarity and single-mindedness, whereas the Kamya Karma person is having so much confusion, and therefore he remains unsatisfied with himself and the world. Now in the next 3 shlokas, Bhagavan is going to talk about the limitations of this Kamya Karma. Those details we'll see in the next class.